High-level idea of the product is to build some hardware and software platform. It's a combination. It's not only software or not only hardware. And with this platform, we're helping machine manufacturers to automate their solutions.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the EVN Disrupt podcast. My name is Untitled Chapter, and I'm the editor of the tech section here at EVN Report. Our guest today is Arevik Hambardzumyan, the co-founder and CTO of TACTUN, a no-code platform and hardware solution that helps automate manufacturing processes. We dive into the product, spoke about how it differs from existing solutions, and lastly, we touched on the hardware ecosystem in Armenia. Thanks for listening. Arevik, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here today. I want to start with a little bit of your background. Tell us what you've done throughout your career and how you got started in the world of technology and entrepreneurship.
Thank you for the invitation. Actually, this is my first podcast. I hope it will be at least good.
We're happy
and
to be your first podcast.
Yes. With my background, I'm an engineer, and I was going to be I thought that I want to be an engineer still when I was in kindergarten. So
wow.
When I grow up, I just realized my dream to become an engineer. Mm-hmm. And I was studying in Polytechnic, State Engineering University of Armenia, in the Department of Cybernetics. Mm-hmm. It's more of about the electronics, about semiconductors.
Right.
And it was very interesting for me. Still, till now, it's very interesting for me. And it's such a field that it's always growing, mm-hmm.
Getting
more interested, more inventions in that field. So it's never
never ending. Yeah.
Never ending.
What were you doing in kindergarten that made you know that you wanted to be an engineer?
Just my father was an engineer. He was a mechanical engineer. Maybe because of that, I was usually, instead of kindergarten, I was going to his workspace, and he was all the time he was drawing something. I didn't understand what he's drawing, but I liked that part. So I decided that I also want to become an engineer. So I became an engineer.
Cool.
I'm electrical engineer.
Right.
Electronics. And later, there was a company, LEDA Systems, here in Armenia. It was US-based, but they have a branch here, and they were selecting some students to learn in their education department. And the students were selected from the Polytechnic, from the State Engineering University. Mm-hmm. So I joined this group of students. And it was again something interesting. And the good thing there was at that time, job market was not in the states that it is today.
Right.
It was not so many jobs to select from. And there was a hope that if you study good, you became good specialist, you can then continue working in that company. Mm-hmm. So I joined them, and we were studying there. At that time, I get to know also my co-founder, Rafael. Mm-hmm. We were studying together there. And then Synopsys, which is again a US-based company, but bigger company, they have acquired LEDA Systems.
That was one of the companies that Synopsys acquired to come to.
So we become part of a Synopsys, and then I have started to work for them.
Right.
And I was working there as a circuit design engineer. So it was again electronics, just more specifically, it was for the integrated circuits.
So you were at Synopsys in the very early years in Armenia. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And this year is the 20th anniversary of Synopsys coming to Armenia.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic.
But I worked there 7 years. After that, even not after that, still I was working there. But Rafael decided to open his company, and he invited me to join him. At that time, it was Rafa Solutions, not the TACTUN.
Right.
And we have started to work together, and till now we're working together.
You guys are still working together. Awesome.
So if I answer your question.
You definitely did. I didn't know that you're basically one of the first employees of Synopsys in Armenia.
Almost. We were still students.
Right.
The first employees were the ones who were working in LEDA. We were just studying in their education department. So we have started to work there even we haven't graduated the university. We were in 4th grade. At the end of the 4th grade, that we have already started to work there.
Yeah,
almost.
Yeah. So because Synopsys has been so impactful for the Armenian tech ecosystem, I'm curious, what was the environment like at the beginning in Synopsys? How was it different than what you were previously exposed to in Armenia?
Previously, it was my first working experience. I was not working previously before Synopsys. But I'm actually very grateful to not only to Synopsys, but also my coworkers there, my manager. It was really like a very good school, not only from the professional perspective, but also overall overall a working environment, how it should be. Of course, there were bad things, good things, but at least for me, good things were much more than... personally, for me, there were no bad things. Only I can remember only good things. Overall, like I can like say that not almost, but whoever I know were like very kind to me and
supportive.
I was just very happy to work there. And also it was not only environment, just the employees of the Synopsys, but also the good thing was that almost the whole our group, I mean the group from engineering university, we were working after the university together. So it was again great that we were continuing to work with the same people that we were studying together.
Fantastic, yeah. So fast forward, you and Rafael co-found TACTUN together. Tell me why transition from working in engineering to deciding to start your own company?
When actually, if I described what we were doing in Rafa Solutions, it was like integration business, service business. We were getting projects. Again, for me, it was like very, very interesting because we were getting projects from like all over the world, from US, India, lots of projects from Russia, from Switzerland, from Germany, like really from all over the world. And also we're creating our products and selling again all over the world. And none of the projects were similar. Every time these were like very different projects, like starting from building a robot, which was going, for example, we had a project for India, and it was a robot which was going through the oil pump and oil pipeline to check its health, for health check monitoring. Another project was for Russia for education, another one to test memory chips, another one like very different. And each one, it's not that like you learn and then you use your knowledge in other projects. With every new project, you learn something new, and even not something, but something big new, because the domains were like fully different. But still, it was a service. And we had also another project initially for India to automate material testing machines. These are machines which are used to test mechanical properties of different products and materials, like toothbrushes, like everything. Whatever you can imagine that can be tested for mechanical properties. And after some time, we have decided that a similar project was requested from another customer from US. And then we were working like long time with this US customer. And then we have understood that at first you cannot build something big. The company cannot grow with service-based projects because all the time you are learning something new. You cannot leverage. Of course, you are leveraging your knowledge in any case, but not the whole one, because the projects are different and you cannot scale fast with this kind of like business model. And then we have decided that these projects that we are building, it can be useful for not only to one customer, but it can be useful for many customers. So we can like productize it, create a product, and try to sell it to different customers. And actually, that was the idea, to create another company, like spin-off from Rafa Solutions, and work only on that product to make it like more useful, more universal, so that we can sell it to much more customers than a single customer.
Right.
And that will be already it would be our product, not something that was built according to some requests, because maybe some requests were not glad to implement.
Right.
Some maybe we want to add some new features, but if it's your product, you can do anything.
Full control over the life cycle. Yeah.
And that's what was the idea.
Yeah. So tell me what TACTUN is. What is it that you guys are working on?
The product. You mean the product?
And the company more generally.
Yes. The company now we have already, I guess, approximately 10 employees, and we the biggest achievement for us, I guess, even it's not the product, but the team that we have. We were able to create if we just take each of our employees as individuals, all of them are maybe the best specialists, at least in Armenia, maybe not only in Armenia, in their field. And our product is not the easiest one because usually lots of companies in Armenia are doing web development or software development. But our product is a little bit difficult also from the developer point of view, because it includes the different, I would say, layers. One of the layers, it's the hardware. There are actually very less companies in Armenia that develop hardware. So, which means we need hardware engineers.
Right.
Then we need, and also I maybe talk a little bit deep technical and some terminology I may use. So you can ask a detailed question if it's interesting. But our hardware is using FPGAs. It's some kind of chips. I will not go deeper, but
we can go deep. I'd be happy to. Before we get there, just give us the sort of high level idea of what is it that you guys are building.
Yes, the high level idea of the product is to build some hardware and software platform. It's like a combination. It's not only software or not only hardware. It's a combination of hardware and software which work together. And with this platform, we're helping machine manufacturers to automate their solutions. And these machine manufacturers can be very different. Now we're working with one field, one vertical, but later we're going to work also in other verticals. And these verticals can be oil and gas to automate well pumps or medical equipment. Now we're concentrating on material testing machines. But again, even the material testing machines are very different. There are material testing machines to test mechanical properties of materials or products. Let's say test the foam of this chair or this belts, car belts, safety belts, and anything else.
Right.
There are machines which are used to test rheological properties of liquids. Let's say honey or toothpaste or everything, actually whatever is manufactured, everything needs to be certified, tested for its quality, for its properties.
And those have specific machines then?
Yes, and these are very specific machines with different kind of actuators which move this machine if it needs some movement. It needs to acquire data from different sensors to measure, let's say, temperature or force or pressure or whatever is needed to measure the quality and properties of the materials or products. And when you are gathering all this sensor data, you need to process it to then give the user some more user-friendly information. If you say it's some kind, let's say, a 6 bar of pressure, it will not mean almost anything. You need to provide more specific measurements. And also you need to be able to move all of this stuff according to standards. There are lots of standards which are defining how to test this material. And you need to make these actuators and motors move according to the standards.
Right.
And that's what our solution is doing. User is not programming all of this, but they have software platform which it's just wizard-based software. They configure everything. Let's say I want to test this product, let's say safety belt. I need to apply this force. I need to measure when it will break, and then like understand what was the force maximum that it can handle. These kind of things, and using this software and our hardware, which is already controlling all these actuators, gathering the data from all these sensors, is like becoming a brain of their solution, of their machine.
Interesting. So so how was this done before a solution like TACTUN?
It's very different. Once I've decided, there are several labs here in Armenia which are doing similar testing for concrete, for cement, this kind of, mostly for construction. Once I've decided to visit them and talk to them as a user. I mean, they are users, and
right.
I was trying to interview them to understand their problems, how they are using the machines, so that when we are building our own, to consider their feedback. But it appears, at least in Armenia, almost all of these machines are manual. Like, let's say if they want to press something, they need to move the actuator. They are just manually rolling this with levels, and mostly it's manual. And they were checking, let's say, the pressure or the force on analog gauges. So it was a manual process. Also, there are some big companies. There are not many. There are like maybe couple of 3 big companies in US which are building these kind of machines and controllers and software for these machines. There is one big company in Japan and another one in Germany. So it's mostly like several big players, which products are really good ones. And there are lots of smaller companies which products are not like very good one from the features perspective, from the user experience. And we decided to mostly work with these small companies to provide them our solution. And like they are building the mechanical part, like the machines. We are giving them the brain for their machine, so that they can play on the same level as these big players. So there are these kind of solutions, but not exactly the similar ones, because mostly the companies are building not only the brain, but the full machine. So everything is theirs, but they are not like, smaller companies cannot afford usually these kind of solutions. That's why we have decided to mostly work with these kind of companies to help them, grow and be able to play on the same level with these bigger players in the market.
Interesting. Is the hardware component that you've built is a controller that can be generalized for most of these machines that check for quality of materials, right?
Because usually in all of the machines, like they need to act, like do something, like press something or do some other kind of movements, and they need to sense whatever is there in the system, like temperature, pressure, and that's what is doing our controller. It's doing data acquisition from different sensors, and based on the data that it is acquiring and based on the data that it was commented to do, it's doing the control so that
it's being fed to your software system, which makes it easy for the user to look at and understand what's going on.
And also it's customizable. Usually if they're buying some software, even let's say there are some smaller players in the market, they are building the machine and they are buying controller and software from some other companies. But usually the software cannot be like customized. They are just buying, and that's what they are getting.
I noticed you guys are marketing it as like a no-code platform.
Yes.
So it's something that someone without engineering expertise can take a look at and build it for the needs of their business.
Yes, at least they need some kind of knowledge from their domain, because they need to know what they want to achieve with our solution. But they do not need to know any like electrical engineering, or electronics, or software engineer to program it. Usually there are also some other way of solutions from our customers, not actually our, but possible customers. They are again building the machine, but they are hiring software engineers to build their own software. But it's like very expensive, especially in US, in Europe. It's very expensive to hire. And actually not only software engineers, but also electrical engineers, electronics engineers to build the hardware, software, and it's like a long process and very expensive.
Yeah. So your solution not only is making it easier for them to have access to what the bigger players do, but it's also significantly cheaper and requires less manpower.
If you compare,
and labor.
like our software is like the pricing is subscription based. The business model it's subscription based. They are paying every year, but it's much more like less expensive than hiring software engineers. And it's not only software engineer. You need to have product manager, project
whole team,
the whole team, to manage the whole process, to
to get the whole life cycle going. Yeah. And is the hardware more generalizable than just quality control for certain materials? Like, can the controller ever be a more generalized solution for all manufacturing processes, or will they be like specific controllers that you guys will maybe build one day for different manufacturing areas?
Actually, yes, it's quite general. We're building the software more specialized, so that it's not like there are not really big number of features which are not used in every domain. But the hardware is very general. It can control like many types of actuators. It can do data acquisition from like many types of sensors. So one needs to just think of where it can be used, like knowing the specification of our hardware, of our controller. You just need to think of some ideas.
Right.
We're going to enter soon like oil and gas market, medical, or mostly difficulties to entering some other verticals. It's mostly knowledge in the domain, so that we know what are different control types that are used in, let's say, oil well pumps.
And what are their pain points?
Yes.
What's difficult for them?
But mostly all of these are again some software features which needs to be added.
Right.
But usually hardware is going to
similar,
to support it.
Yeah.
Even if there are some sensors which we do not support or actuators, the hardware platform is built now with such an architecture that it's very easy to add some new module, and it will support some new domain very easily.
Interesting. Is that something that like is it like a hardware kit type of thing where you guys sell and then other people can add modules to it, or would you guys be the ones that you customize the modules on it for that industry?
Usually it's we are doing it. They are providing us their requirements, and we are selecting which model fits them.
Yeah.
Or maybe we will build some new model for them. But it's not like very modularized. It's modularized for us, for make it easy to develop, to make like manufacturing time, design time very short, maybe like 1 month, 2 month maximum. But overall, it's like general solution. And till now, whatever requests we were getting, we were satisfying, at least like from the hardware perspectives.
Interesting. I want to shift gears a little bit and talk about just hardware engineering in general in Armenia. So you're a graduate of Polytechnic University, and I imagine probably most hardware engineers in Armenia are Polytechnic grads, because I think it's one of the few places that actually has that level of training. For a country like Armenia that doesn't have any or very little domestic manufacturing of electronics and hardware, and that doesn't have many hardware companies to begin with, what's the importance of investing in that domain, and B, is there potential to grow it within Armenia? I
think there is a potential, but overall, like from the employees' perspectives, I think nowadays the situation is not the best one. Also, there is the State Engineering University. Also, there is no like quite specific specialization in State University. But I know some people who have graduated from physics faculty of State University and still doing some hardware design. But there are like very less specialists in hardware comparing to the software.
Yeah. It's like 100 to 1 probably. Yeah.
I know very less people. And even in our company, we don't have any from hardware. Like I'm responsible for the hardware design.
Right.
We have tried to like hire to find, but then thought that maybe we don't, at least currently, like our time and our requirements are such that we do not need hardware engineers currently. But it will be great if this field will also grow in Armenia. Mm-hmm. Although there is no manufacturing, but I guess even we do not need to have manufacturing process here because these are like big factories and they are not, from the environment perspective, they are not the cleanest one. Mm-hmm. There are lots of chemical processes that are used. Usually we are ordering our controls to be built, like we're designing here. But the manufacturing usually is done either in China or USA.
In the US as well?
Yes,
Yeah.
in US, in Europe.
Yeah.
It depends also on customers. Some customers may prefer, if they are especially US based, they may prefer to have it made in USA. Mm-hmm. So it's their choice. They are paying more, but it's their choice.
Right. Is that a requirement that customers want in order to be compliant with something? Or
yes, mostly if it is military, defense, this kind of organization, they're like a government is pushing for them that the products that they are using in their products, even if it's not their own products, but some part of their products, it still needs to be manufactured in USA.
Like do you know if that has anything to do with the recent new regulatory framework that came into place for the semiconductor industry in the US, or is it just a more general government thing?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Interesting. What's it like having a hardware startup in 2024? Because typically hardware startups are known to be very capital intensive. From a fundraising standpoint, it's been much harder recently for startups, and bigger companies are maybe spending money much more difficultly than in the past. Just in general, what are your thoughts as a hardware entrepreneur? What's the ecosystem like for you today?
It's really not easy, not only from this manufacturing perspectives, but also from tax perspectives, importing perspective. Because if you are developing software, you do not need to import the expert and all of this stuff. Everything is just virtual. Right. But if it's hardware, you need to, let's say we're designing something new, we need to build a prototype. Then we need to order this prototype, let's say in China or US or in any other country, and need to import it. Yeah. So there are like lots of difficulties to import. I'm not very good at this part, I mean, from the knowledge perspective, but I know that it is difficult to import all of this stuff to Armenia. And also there are lots of difficulties when we need to buy something even from the outside. Even the components when you are buying, it's mostly related to Russian sanctions that the US has implied to Russia. They are affecting also Armenia.
Because you primarily procured from Russia in the past?
No, we're procuring from USA, but they are thinking that we may resell to Russia. So Armenia is under similar sanctions just due to Russia.
Right, not directly sanctions maybe, but
yes,
it's
but
like
still it is affecting.
People think twice. Yeah.
Yes, before selling to us, it is again difficult. One of the difficulties. Another one is maybe like getting the investment. Because when you are talking to investors, mostly they are usually most of their experience is software companies. Sometimes they even do not understand the business, how all is done, what's the hardware, what's doing, how they need to what's going to be the return, how it's going to be. So it is again difficult from the investment point of view as well.
Yeah, I
there are imagine. Lots of VCs which are saying that they are investing only in software. Right. Yeah. So it's again,
especially in Armenia, there's probably not many VCs that have experience with doing a deal for a hardware company. Right. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about the procurement issue that you brought up. Do you know what the primary bottleneck is for why it's so difficult to buy Because it's something that others have complained about as well on the show in the past. What is it about the regulations that makes it difficult to buy electronic parts and import in those kinds of things
there
that
are
are needed for?
two sections of this problem. One is importing. The problems here are connected to our government. It's not like outside issues. It's like internal governmental issues that either you need to give some taxes to import, even if it's your own product, you have just manufactured the prototype so that it comes here, you test it, then you maybe give bigger order. There are some, I don't know the reason exactly why it's so difficult here, why they're stopping us to do it. I don't know why. And from the procurement perspective, it's I think something related to Russia. Even there is this big company in US, Xilinx. AMD has acquired Xilinx, but still it's one of the biggest companies, and we're using their chips. Not exactly the chips, but it's like their technology. Again, if let's say if we want to buy some evaluation board from them, they are or even the software, they are not providing licenses to Armenia. Also, they have here R&D branch. Even in that case, in Armenia, you cannot buy and use their licenses for the software to just use their technology.
That's interesting.
Oh, yes. From the hardware perspectives, there are lots of difficulties here just because of the country.
I don't know what
Not
the solution
that we have done something wrong here, but
that's extremely tough. And I don't know what I don't know what solution someone could have, because it's far bigger than just this company.
I also don't know exact solution, but governments needs to be friends with proper governments. Somehow. I don't know how all this stuff is done in politics.
A good place to start would be just reforming sort of the archaic import laws around these issues just internally.
They need to have, at first they need to have the desire to help the companies here to grow the economics. At least they need to have the desire. I don't know if they have this desire or they don't have.
Have you guys been in dialogue with the government on the issues that you're facing?
Some time ago, there were some, maybe not exactly us, but there are some organizations like UIT, this kind of organizations. But nowadays, I even don't know. We have found just some solutions, some workarounds.
But that's not conducive to having an environment that helps you iterate quickly and get to market faster. I remember once another hardware founder was saying he and his co-founders went to China for a few weeks to sort of oversee the manufacturing process of the product that they were working on. And he was saying, Armenian founders, he was saying that we had these ideas to make these little things better on it, and we could just go down from our hotel and the store beside us had all these little parts that we could just put onto the board and see if it would work better. And just from an iteration perspective, something like that was so helpful to them that it helped them that without being in China during that time, they would have never been able to test all these different things and make the product better.
Previously we were for one of our customers in US, we were manufacturing lots of controller boards in China, and we were all the time with each of the batches that we were manufacturing in China. We were sending our engineers, maybe one engineer, a couple of engineers to China to go there, almost for the same purpose. At first to test it, so that we ourselves just test the quality of the product that we were, because when we were manufacturing in China, also these factories where we're manufacturing, we know them already several years. They have manufactured lots of controllers for us. But in any case, each time we are flying there to China to test all this stuff, just manually to make sure that the quality is the one that is good for us and for our customers. And from China, we are shipping to US. It's not entering Armenian land.
Oh, interesting. And that makes it easier from a thing perspective as well.
Yes. In US,
there's no issues
tax
of getting
perspectives or customs clearance. It's very easy. If everything is online, you fill all the forms online. It takes maybe several minutes. Then you just go there, grab your stuff, take it to your customer, deliver it, and everything is there. it seems their government is making everything easy for their
business,
and not only for their business, maybe even from outside business, so that they can go there and have open workspaces there.
Yeah. From a regulatory perspective, there's a ton of work to do in Armenia to make it more favorable for the tech ecosystem to thrive. Recently, you guys announced a seed investment or a pre-seed investment from SmartGate. Is that the first investment you guys have gotten in TACTUN?
Yes.
Yeah. Tell us what the plan is now that you've raised money.
The plan is to scale a little bit, not even the just number of employees, but overall the technology, integrate more artificial intelligence parts in our software and get more customers.
That's always good. What's the opportunity to integrate AI into the software?
There are lots of opportunities because nowadays, if we the first question that you were asking, what was the technology before us? Of course, there was no any AI.
Right.
Some stuff were even almost manual. But nowadays, there are lots of ideas, at least with us, that we want to during the time integrate into our software to make it more clever. And there are really lots of ideas to get even enter a material investigation in material discovery fields, because when you get different properties of different materials from different customers, of course, with their knowledge, then you can do lots of stuff with this data that you are gathering, doing discovery of new materials or maybe new properties, maybe new alloys, or this kind of stuff.
Right.
And there, AI can be very helpful. And not only there, but also in the very simple task. Imagine previously you users or this company stuff, the machine manufacturers, they were either testing manually or later with the software or programming the software. And nowadays, imagine they have the software, they have this brain, and they are just talking to the software and explain that they want to test this stuff. And then the software itself will generate all this procedures, what to test. Yes, level, so it will be even no code. Yes, but one more level up.
No code and no drag and drop. Just talk. Awesome. Last question, Arevik. Where do you hope to see TACTUN in 5 years?
I hope to see it bigger company with more employees and entering some more new verticals. To make it at least more interesting, not only from the scale perspective, but also from the domains perspective.
Right.
And make it another some kind of dream that I have is that I hope that TACTUN will be such a brand that will make Armenia known for its hardware solutions for this kind of solution, not only software, but overall some clever solution which is helping to automate a different kind of machines in different fields. So it's some kind of known Armenian brand.
Yeah, fantastic. Wish you a lot of luck with it, and I hope you'll come back on and tell us how it goes. Thank you, Arevik.
Thank you.